Mar-a-Lago, where investigators recovered 26 boxes of archival material, including top secret files and classified intelligence, is a notoriously unsecure place to keep national secrets. The ex-president's retirement home is basically a resort. It's a private club, event space. People hold weddings, attend New Year's Eve parties where Vanilla Ice is performing. They might go up to the omelet bar on a Sunday morning. It was plagued throughout the Trump presidency with security breaches. For example, back in 2019, 2 different women from China were arrested in 2 separate instances and charged with trespassing at Mar-a-Lago. Criminal complaint for one says she was found with, quote, 4 cellular telephones, 1 laptop computer, 1 external hard drive type device, and 1 thumb drive. A preliminary forensic examination of the thumb drive determined it contained malicious malware. Today, as we find out new details from the FBI about the stash of closely guarded secrets Trump had squirreled away at Mar-a-Lago, there's brand new reporting from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette about another apparent huge security breach there. According to the paper, a Russian-speaking immigrant from Ukraine pretended to be a member of the famous Rothschild family and made several trips to Mar-a-Lago. She was even photographed with the ex-president and South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham at a nearby golf tournament. One of the reporters who broke this incredible story is a 2-time Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Michael Salla. He's the deputy managing editor for investigations at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and he joins me now. Michael, first, just give us what we know about who this individual is and why we think there's anything possibly suspicious going on here.
She, are my colleagues at the OCCRP and us worked pretty hard at developing her background. She is a Ukraine, Russian-speaking immigrant who came to the United States 12, 15 years ago and reinvented herself in the last few years as Anna de Rothschild. She flies on private jets. She drives a brand new Mercedes. She started by working her way through with major developers in South Florida, trying to get financing for various ventures for which she wasn't really even a part of, and found herself getting invited to Mar-a-Lago. And that started the beginning of she was there last year for several trips. And for at least a year, everybody thought that she was indeed a member of the Rothschild family.
Is there an investigation now happening to describe how you guys got onto this story?
There is an inquiry by the FBI and Canadian law enforcement into how she got in, but also her background. She formed a charity which was found to be rife with fraud. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars missing. She has traveled the world. There's allegations of all sorts of crimes and criminality of which she has vehemently denied. But there is an active investigation, and I think they're just trying to determine a lot of her background and then how she found her way in there and what she may have represented herself to be and what she did when she was there.
Do we know? I mean, how did she end up playing golf with Donald Trump and Lindsey Graham?
She got invited by a friend of a friend, and there was a tournament that weekend. It was called the Trump-Graham Classic, and it was a fundraiser to basically kick off the midterms. They raised around $1 million, and she was invited to golf. She was able to meet the president, pose with him. She went back to Mar-a-Lago in and out. She was driving a brand new Mercedes-Benz SUV, and she at least 5 to 6 trips in and out of Mar-a-Lago with really nobody checking her ID, nobody really finding out who really is she. All the guests in there thought she was a Rothschild. They thought that she was a member of this, in very famous banking dynasty family from Europe. And she pretty much had everybody captivated.
Yeah, you have multiple quotes from folks at Mar-a-Lago who say, yeah, we thought she was a Rothschild, and we were kind of a little starstruck and thought she was, from this very fancy family. Where is she now?
She is believed to be in the Miami area. The last thing she said to us is she was meeting with the FBI. Multiple people have already been interviewed. It's an ongoing case, and there's a criminal investigation in Canada as well. A lot of it's in her financial dealings, in which she's represented herself to be. And I believe also they're looking very closely at, the time that she spent there, what her background is. She's very involved in the Russian community of South Florida, and she's she at this point in time, we really don't know the status of the investigation and where it's going right now.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear here, like she has not, just for everyone watching this, she denies any allegations of any criminal conduct, and she has not been formally charged, indicted, or anything at all for anything criminal, just so people are crystal clear about that, right?
That is correct. No, she has not been charged. There's been no, not even, there have been some filings in court, making allegations about her. But other than that, she is still out there, and she's professing that she had never represented herself as Anna de Rothschild, which is clearly not the case. There are enough people that already represent her.
Yeah, and she's got multiple documents appearing to call her that, even though that is not actually her real name. It says something about how you get in and out of Mar-a-Lago and how easy it is. This story made me wonder how many Anna de Rothschilds are golfing at Mar-a-Lago on a given weekend. Michael Sala, thanks so much for a great report.
Various excuses are often contradictory and unsupported by facts. But when does that stop him? As for the latest one, that material at Mar-a-Lago was already declassified because there was a standing order to declassify materials. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton disputed those claims.
When a document is declassified, it's not just declassified as to Donald Trump, it's declassified for the whole world. So in theory, if that order existed, which I don't think it did, the news media could today file a Freedom of Information Act request for every document he declassified, which over a 4-year period could be a pretty high stack. So I think this is made up, and I think a key point here is when somebody's making up stories like that, I think it indicates a level of desperation.
The election, this is old Chicago days. Will you be asking that in Georgia, where you have two